Are we ready, everybody? Not to go full SpongeBob on this, but enough people have brought up old Gridiron Masters 98 that I figured, hey, screw it, why not check it out? I think at the very least, I'm going to kind of do what I did with a certain other game I don't want to talk about, and play about an hour of this, and just get a feel for it, and if we decide we want to play beyond that, cool. But just an hour is pretty much all we kind of need to dip our toe into the pool and see what's up. This came out on May 7th, so it is still a pretty damn recent game. And it is, of course, a sim-based American football game with both college and pro, which is interesting. And, of course, the very 90s, early 2000s ESPN vibe as well, which is definitely a big selling point. Now, I will say, because I'm consistent about this, there's a couple things about the game, right? First and foremost, it's in early access until May 4th of next year, right? They plan on it being in early access for the next year. They plan on adding numerous things, field engine, refined team systems, stuff like that. They even outright say, what's the current state? It's playable, which is why I was like, okay, do I want to? Do I not want to? But at the same time, you know, they're also doing a pretty smart thing. Like, it's $10 now. The price will go up later. But if you choose to invest in the game early on, you kind of get rewarded. Something I may have suggested for some others that I, again, don't really want to talk about. But another thing that is mentioned here is AI, right? Which I am not 100% anti-AI. But if you are going to use it, it's kind of nice when you're honest about it. And they are pretty honest about it. Mentioning that 98% to their estimation is human-authored art. Mentioning some of the pro logos, about 13 a number. I don't know how it's about 13. What does that mean? You know, let's get a specific number on that. But again, mentioning, hey, specifically, here's what was used, here's how it was used. I respect and appreciate that at the very least, right? Be open and honest about it and let people know what they're getting into right out of the gates. I was hoping you were going to stream this game and that you're actually doing it. You inspired me to give FHM a shot. I enjoy FHM a lot. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but I've gotten a lot more into sim games over the past couple of years, I'll say that. And all right, just like that, we boot right in. Right in. And here, you know what? Let me make sure we get some game audio on this bad boy, because this is pretty nice. The audio is definitely fitting the theme here, as you'll now be able to tell. So I'm digging that. Again, very much the old school ESPN vibe, which is nice. What do we got for options? CRT filter, music volume, just the resolution, text-to-speech, featured games, quick hits, discussions. Hosts will not discuss specific areas of the team. Okay. Pretty straightforward. Pretty straightforward. And just because... Okay, it's going to mention people that donated. I was going to say, I want to know how many people were involved in making this, but... Let's see what we got. New World. Works for me. Ooh... Okay, damn. All right, all the way back to 1900. From year 1950, and then you can choose the start year. The earliest start year is 1990. Okay. So yeah, we'll go ahead and just go with the default settings. That's fine. Generation speed is dependent on computer speed. A new world could take a long time if the start year is from later. Load the default world if it takes too long. Go on to quicker speed. Turn off full sim. Which will only simulate team history. We'll have full sim on. That's fine by me. World name, whatever. I'll just leave that. That's fine. Cool. So we'll see how long this takes to generate just on default settings. I mean, I have a decent computer, not a crazy computer at this stage. Obviously, because updating stuff is expensive as all shit now. So there is that, but... Cleveland, Ohio, the Cleveland Pitbulls, the Birmingham Gators. I'm intrigued to see what teams are in here, too. I probably shouldn't have chosen the 50s. Because now it is going to build, generated history from 1950 up to 1990. So we could have just started with it being a brand new league back in starting in 1990. But you know what? We'll let this load up. We'll be good to go. Not a big deal. All right, we about made it through, thankfully. I do think some of the logos might get them in trouble, right? The Kansas Cardinals instead of the Jayhawks. They're pushing the boundaries a little bit. But okay. We have our coach creation. Neat. All right, there's quite a few that we can do. Class, executive, scout, or tactician. Ooh. Interesting. I do wish it mentioned specifically comment accuracy bonus, defensive coordinator. Okay, so executive gives us kind of different boosts. Offense, common accuracy bonus, offensive coordinator. That's fine. If we go scout, also apparently more of an offensive coordinator. And then tactician, you'll just be better on game day. So executives, team building in a way. Scout. Okay, we'll just go scout. That's normally how we play. Our background will be offense. That's fine. Football level. Let's do a little bit of college and a little bit of pro, right? We'll sort out both. When I start pro, we'll just do a 1990 only. We learned our lesson. So we will not be Donovan Steinfurth. We will be Jim Steinfurth. No, we won't be. We won't be Jim. It's fine. It's fine. All right, let's see. Got to be from the old state of Maine. Can't even have my actual birthday in here. It's terrible. We'll just say I was born in the year 1955. Why not? I feel that way sometimes. There's one hat, 2 non-options, and 1 hat. Okay, let's wear a hat. Let's not actually, so we can see the hair options. We got quite a few. The numbering, I know what happened with the numbering here. It's a bit funny. It worked out that way. Let's see. Do we have a quick way to scroll? Not really. All right, but yeah, just basic different hair options. That's fine. Give me a hat. Give me a hat. Hair bottom? Oh, sideburns. But there's sideburns itself. This is, okay. This is, it's fine. We want to make him look as, in fairness, it looks like he has a mullet now, so that's perfect. Now he's apparently in witness protection. Perfect. We love witness protection, apparently. There you go. Give him the fattest face and the fattest neck possible. Perfect. But yeah, customization. 2 different clothes options. Color options as well. Cool. Straightforward. Different speech rating, player scouting, player number, acquisitions. I swear to God, I read rechecks as rednecks. That works. That's fine. All right, so we have gotten 3 job offers. The North Carolina Bucks, the Nevada Hunters, or St. Joan of Arc Maidens. Well, clearly we gotta go to the St. Joan of Arc Maidens. No doubt about that. But, yeah, obviously a North Carolina option, Nevada, or St. Joan. We'll have the St. Joan. Let's see, athletic director. Lawrence Sauerbeck, our boss, Mr. Sauerbeck. Expectations -8 on the hot seat, year 1 of 7. I think a coach should feel supported, not threatened. I don't think I want to do that. And then different history. All right, let's sign the contract. That's fine. Cool. All right. So if we scroll down, what options do we have? Same options from the main menu. Off-season, sports zone. In terms of the league, we're definitely going to want to take a look there, too. And then obviously we have generated team history, right, which is nice. Dating back to 1950 when we lost in the Clockbuster Bowl. Cannot specifically click on any season for generated stats, but it does have, our national ranking, what happened, bowl history, stuff like that for college. So that's pretty good. That's not bad. Coach, same thing that we had before. That's fine. And then coaches. Offensive coordinator, Vernon Fischel. Danielle's dad. But Vernon, red zone tactics, quarterback wide out for his strength, weakness, blind spots, potential. Okay. What can we do with Vernon? I can see when a guy's playing ahead of the play. Insight, patience, game plan. Okay, so I mean you can see the general game plan history, and you can see their history of where they've been. Cool. And Luca Booty. Yeah, Luca Booty. Okay, fair enough. God damn, this guy was born in 1923. Holy shit. In terms of the roster, you know what? We'll look at that in a minute, but shout out to that first name. So in terms of taking a look at the league, does potential blind spot mean bad at developing players? I would imagine it would be bad at properly judging someone's talent level. Maybe, you know, again, maybe thinking someone's better than they are, worse than they are, that type of thing. So if we go history here, you can see national championship records. Again, depending on what you did. You can also see pro at any time. Cool. So if we look at standings, number 1 team, the Auburn Lions. You got the Pullman State Wildcats. How many teams did they generate? 120? It is 120 teams. Pullman State Wildcats. The Muncie State Redhawks. So I would imagine Miami of Ohio for Muncie State? No, well, I mean Muncie, Indiana, but interesting. The Cincinnati Bears, not the Bearcats, just the Bears. Okay. Shout out to Irwin for the 22 as well. That SEC logo's pushing it. I do think with some of the logos, I appreciate what they're doing. Muncie State's Ball State, that makes sense. Duh. I would imagine, like, there's got to be at least one team or one, like, come on. Michigan State's going to hear about this and be like, man, you're changing that logo. I hope they don't, but I have a hunch they might get in trouble for being just a little bit too close to the sun here. Blacksburg Tech Maroons. The Fresno Terriers. The Sumter State Renegades of the ECC. Dude, oh man. Louisiana Tech. Oh man, that's pushing it. The Ruston Tech Pitbulls. That logo is pushing it, man. Kansas Jayhawks, I mean the Kansas Cardinals. They're pushing it. I respect it, but man. God, shout out to New Jersey. The Piscataway Red Riders, holy shit. The Virginia Dragoons. Crab Rangoon, things of that nature. The New Mexico Bears, Boston University Falcons instead of the BC Eagles. Not the Georgia Bulldogs, but the Georgia Pitbulls. The Minnesota State, or just Minnesota Beavers instead of the Minnesota Golden Gophers. The Texas Military College Cadets. I love this so much. The Colorado Bulls. The Logan State Scots. Oh, why couldn't I have gotten an offer from Logan State? That's got to be... I mean... Color scheme obviously gives Old Dominion vibes, but yeah. The Lafayette Crazen Creole. That's awesome. Instead of the Ragin' Cajuns, the Crazen Creoles. Delightful. The Las Cruces State Clodhoppers. The Fort Collins State Lions. The Boise Stallions. Obviously with the orange and blue. The Central Orlando Stallions. The Miami Waves. Obviously, we have our Joan of Arc, St. Joan of Arc Maidens. The Florida Predators. The West Lafayette Steelmakers. Definitely not Wake Forest, don't say anything. The Winston-Salem, there's Wake Forest. The Winston-Salem Dragoons and things of that nature. Honestly, with so many college teams, it's a good thing the names and logos are cool. Yeah, and I mean, at the same time, too, so many college teams, right? What's your logo? It's an M. The Monroe Kushada. We got the South Carolina Gobblers. The Idaho Visigoths. Love that. Miami State Cardinals. the Illinois Natives, the North Carolina Bucks, the Bowling Green Eagles. That's one, man. That is one that is pushing it. Oh, man. I love it, but they're pushing it. The Utah Arrows instead of the Utes, of course. Central Georgia Rangers. Got the Iowa Eagles, the Toledo Stars, the Mississippi Mudcats. Hell yeah. The Akron Runners. That's pushing it, man. They're going to get in trouble. They're going to get in trouble. The Birmingham Gators. The California Panthers. Colorado Springs Eagles. Shout out to the Air Force. The Texas Bullhorns. God damn. The New Orleans Emerald Tide. Come on, man. Some of these are just genius, and then other ones, like, dude, I'm worried they're going to get in trouble. Shout out to Not Too Lane. The Waco Wildcats. So what, the Bobcats, of course. The Dallas Colts. Definitely not SMU. The Evanston Leopards. Oregon Cyberhawks. The Clemson Wildcats. The Lubbock Tech Cowboys. Starkville State Dogs. You got the definitely not Duke Blue Devils. The Durham Demons. The DeKalb Wolfpack. Hell yeah. Nevada Hunters, we already saw. The Louisville Crimson Eagles. Missouri Lions. The Maryland Toads. They're going to get in trouble. There's no way they're not going to have to change some of this before the full release. The Corvallis State Badgers. Tallahassee State Renegades. The Houston Wildcats. Can't wait to see all these teams in Team Builder on NCAA, right? Memphis Jags. The LA Bearcats. You know, UCAL Bearcats. I hope I get to talk to the people that made this game because they are habitual line steppers, and I appreciate it so much. The Baton Rouge State Lions. The Wyoming Stallions. California South Spartans. God damn, man. The Columbus State Foresters. The Pittsburgh Cougars. The Tempe State Desert Demons. Go ASU. I mean, go TSDD. The San Diego Mayans. Oh, dude. They're pushing. The Hawaii Island Warriors. The Nebraska. We saw this in the loading screen. Dude, they're going to get in so much trouble. The Kentucky Jaguars. The Arkansas Ringtails. I actually really like that logo. It's cute. The Indiana Chippewa. Or the Chippewa. Atlanta Tech Goldens. The South Bend Catholic Knights. The Annapolis Admirals. Boy, I wonder who that's supposed to be. The Ames State Dust Croppers. I hope they claim parity. Same. Philadelphia College Ravens. The Stillwater State Rangers. Arizona Bobcats. The West Virginia Explorers. The Wisconsin Beavers. Kalamazoo Colts. The Ohio Panthers. The Huntington Bulls. The Tennessee Militiamen. The Oklahoma Pathfinders. The San Jose Trojans. The Greenville Raiders. Oh, man. Jacksonville Vikings. The Fort Worth War Toads. The Manhattan State Tigers. The West Houston Ravens. Jonesboro State Tomahawks. Connecticut Knights. The Provo Panthers. Definitely not the BYU Cougars. The Stanford Barons. The Ypsilanti Ottawa. I like that. That's a good shout. The Kent Golden Wings. Not the Kent State Golden Flashes. The Southern Tampa Rhinos. The El Paso 49ers. You're going to get in trouble. You're going to get in so much trouble. The Richmond State Bulldogs. The Michigan Wildcats. The Washington Grey Wolves. The Southern Hattiesburg Hawks. The Texarkana State Ducks. The Alabama Reds. We're almost there, by the way. West Point Generals. Syracuse Applemen. The North Raleigh State Reynards. The Tulsa Tornadoes. Pennsylvania Tigers. Not the Lions. The Denton Falcons. Mount Pleasant Hurons. The Nashville Admirals. And the Great Basin Stallions. At the bottom. Jay Benny, what's going on, by the way? Oh, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. We'll take a look at the pros later on, right? I want to get into what we have here. In terms of our roster, we have quarterback Cale Rabbit, who is actually from the state of Maine. Hell yeah, Cale. His investment in the team is light. Ability is red zone and green zone. Step inside, get a pass. The fast sim roll is completion percentage. So if we click on Mr. Rabbit, he's got a C in skill. Potential, we don't know. Growth rate, very slow. Decline rate, slow decline. Trajectory, regressing slightly. Peak age, early. Tactical fit, it's for red zone. Strengths and weakness. Okay. So if we hit start, make this player the starter. Okay. And then there's also rechecking this player, which I would mean double-checking his scouting report. So that's not bad. Obviously, you get their stats. Ooh, you get their high school, generated high school stats as well. I like that. And then their history. Apparently, he won the Kyoto Bowl. Excuse me, I read it as the fucking Crypto Bowl. And yeah, heavily chews gum for sure. We got Howard Allmeyer, a C-, and Eric Harmon at quarterback. Who do we have at running back? Noel Wetstein, Herbie DeRue, and Dustan Miat. Tight ends, Devin Follick. God, this team's bad. Landers Fagner and Jagger Fortman. Wideouts, Kenny Sjogren, Ahmad Nadeem, Jace Cuffey, and Donovan Siegele. O-line, also not that good. A couple of C's, that's about it. Landers, what? You heard me. Clip it, go ahead. D-line, oh, we got a B-. CC Norick. You don't have to be a high rating, though, to have an ability, right? Nestor Mutri is a D+, and he does have an ability. Okay. Our linebackers, couple C+. We got an F in Benjamin Griff. The defensive backs, shout out to Fletch Ochman. And Kozik's got an ability, too. And then kicker/punter is Conrad Clobberdans. Hell yeah. So, not much investment from this team. We do have a couple of people with abilities. Terms of the schedule. Let's see, we drew Houston. Oh, that's funny. They got NBN Sports, CBN Sports, CSPN, ASN. But we got a couple of ranked opponents on the schedule. It does have a playoff format as well, which is pretty nice. I like that. And then the bowl games. The Pasadena Bowl, Continental Bowl, Copper, Heartland, the Jazz Bowl, Freedom, Dixie, Wrangler, Rust, Palm, Micro Shack, Burger Hut, Little Romans, Comp Center, and Investor Max. Let's hope we make it to the Burger Hut Bowl. Oh, wait, we got more. The Clockbuster Bowl, the Dream Station, the Maverick Motors, the Kyoto Bowl, and the Charity Bowl. Let's hope we make it to the Burger Hut Bowl, huh? That is what we are hoping for. Delightful. Okay. Well, it does say off-season complete. So I imagine within schedule... I don't want to be dumb here. Okay, so yeah, we can simulate all games to this point. Let's do that. August 26th. Okay, man. Okay, the presentation is cool, though. But that is definitely not ESPN style. We lost our first game 20-7 to the Houston Wildcats. No real surprise there. Not the best game from old Kale Rabbits, unfortunately. The cease and desist is strong with this one. Go back to schedule, yes. Alright, so what else do we got? Sports Zone is there and available now. Cody, I don't think you can rename teams. I haven't seen anything that would indicate that. Let's check out Sports Zone. I want to see... This is one of the big selling features, right? Is this whole Sports Zone thing. So I want to check that out. I believe it's generating. Think. Maybe. Maybe that doesn't work yet. Unfortunately. Hopefully it does. But now I was wondering if there was anything in the way of recruitment in the mid-season. It doesn't look like it. Alright. So for game number 2, let's just go ahead. Please wait until the audio... Okay, it is generating the audio. Well, we're at 14% on audio generation. So, that'll take a second. Alright, so let's take a look at the Sports Zone thing then, not the audio generated. That took a couple of minutes, but we'll see how much information it's presenting to see if it's worth utilizing this feature, at least when you're in college, because it might not be. It's Ron Berman!
Howdy, folks, and welcome to CSPN Sports Zone. I'm Ron Berman, and I'm joined, as always, by Elliot Jackson. It's week number 1. Welcome back to CSPN. The week's games have been intense. Let's get to the action. Let's take a look at what's going on in the college football world. Let's take a look at Veteran Field. The Red Riders went up to face off against the Falcons. Ricky Lamley was making guys miss and moving the ball downfield for a total of 110 rushing yards. Piscataway stuck to the ground game and were rewarded with 38 total carries. Piscataway kept the chains moving consistently with 456 total yards. Doyle Sargo kept testing tight windows.
So you can either read the text, obviously, or generate the audio.
Piscataway kept the aerial...
Here, I'll give you guys a free look without my face attached to it. Obviously, the audio is not going to be there now, and I'm sorry for that, but, you know, just so you know what the text looks like.
Total yards. Piscataway beats Boston University 21-7.
This matchup was a back and forth battle with neither side giving an inch.
Lucky Leroy, the 41 months. Let's go. Welcome back, Leroy.
Baton Rouge State made the trenches their home and finished with 48 total carries. Alabama beats Baton Rouge State 29-28. Both teams kept answering each other, making it a true nail-biter. Grit to both was a takeaway artist and wrapped up with 2 interceptions.
We'll have to clean up a little bit. I mean, we know what's going on here, but
Idaho wins 27-24.
It works well.
Let's make our way to Stallion Stadium, where the Clodhoppers went on the road to play the Stallions. Las Cruces State leaned on physicality instead of finesse and ended with 30 total carries. Kit Del Foss caught the ball in traffic and wrapped up with 114 reception yards. Las Cruces State turned in a complete offensive performance with 366 total yards. Shane Braymiller was
CSPN can find 2 people who know the rock.
Wrapped up with 3 rushing touchdowns. Boys was launching attempts like a machine and ended with 42 passes.
I like this. All it needs is a bit of the highlights, but that might be too much. Yeah, perhaps. But I do like the vibe of it. You know, the old TV vibe. You can pause and play at any time. You can't fast forward, obviously. But we get the gist, and I mean, obviously, this is really nice to have. And at any time, can we just turn the TV off?
Passes.
There we go. So at any time, you can just turn the TV off and move on. Cool. Let's keep moving forward, because I want to see, as we lost to Central Orlando, I'm going to say we're not a very good team. I want to know, it doesn't look like we'll have any mid-season recruiting. Let's sim a little bit further ahead. Again, this is a sim-only game as well. Keep that in mind. We ended up winning 4 in a row. It's not too bad. We're not 4 in a row, but 3 out of 4. Yeah, 4 wins now. I didn't realize we beat Blacksburg Tech. Alright, so no in-season recruiting at the moment. You may be disappointed by the recruiting. I may indeed be. Let's see. Hey, we beat definitely not Louisiana Tech to finish 6-6. We'll take that. We'll take that. Let's go league, not league. Let's go roster, maybe. So obviously we can see our quarterback stats from there. 14 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Nothing amazing. We go league standings. Obviously that's what it is. Doesn't look like we have any way to check out league-wide stats right now, which is a bit surprising given the generation. You know, like the generation time, depending on the amount of years that you add. Unless it shows up in the off-season after the fact. Let's see. I'm at the bowl week. Nothing there. Let's see. Just other bowl week. So obviously have to take a look at the playoffs. But yeah, basically it looks like all your work will be done in the off-season, and that's fine. Works for me. Playoff-wise, so you do get a 16-team bracket. That's fine. Washington, Baton Rouge, Sumter State, and Virginia. Somebody loves Piscataway in this timeline. Let's see, all the way through the playoff weeks. National championship came down to Baton Rouge State and Piscataway. Actually, I lied. It came down to the Baton Rouge State and Stillwater State. And Baton Rouge State goes 13-4 en route to a national title. Okay. And that'll bring us straight into the offseason then. Fair enough. So is there... Doesn't look like there's any way to see nationwide player stats right now, unless I am just missing something. Standings only, in fairness. Fair enough. Obviously, I'll have thoughts on that. Different job offers. Of course, we can stay. There's the North Carolina Bucks. Now the Greenville Raiders playing at Fickle Rowdy Stadium. Oh, man. You know what? I mean, after the season we had, we'll stay where we are. That's fine. Expectations -8, win percentage +5. Okay. We'll continue contract. That's fine. In terms of coaches, offensive coordinator, we have 5 options here. Right. Blind spots, potential. Jacoby Minar has no blind spots at all. Good security, tight end quarterbacks, not good with wideouts. Okay. You know, Laird Kramarshak. We'll bring you in. He's got some benefits going on. We'll try to bring you in if we can. Let's see if I do this, what happens? I don't even know. Projection is an art, not a formula. I trust the game more than formulas. Interesting. If I do this, click on that. Read away a player manipulates leverage. I can see a player's ceiling long before the numbers catch up. Okay, so you can just kind of talk to him and get his opinion on certain aspects and elements. Okay. Laird, let's bring you in as our offensive coordinator. Defensive coordinator, we obviously want someone who has strengths. Connor Bowden is negatives. Actually, in fairness, George Gauntlet. No strengths, no weaknesses, no blind spot. He just exists. Perfect. Let's bring in George Gauntlet. And that, if we hit advance the off-season... I mean, I guess I want to. I guess I want to advance the off-season. Fair enough. That should bring us to the graduations. And it does. All right, graduation. We lose wideout Jace Cuffey. Doesn't say to what. You know, I mean, he is 22, so you can make a presumption, although it does say year 0. Doesn't say if we lost it. I mean, he does have the pro logo, so I guess he did go pro. He was the only guy that we lost. transfers. Okay. Cannot currently sort by grade, from what I can tell, unless you can do it from here. Trying to click the 6 out of 6, the button next to it. Looks like we are allowed 6 transfers, is what I'm guessing. Doesn't look like, though, we are allowed to sort. But yeah, we're allowed to pick up the 6 players here. So let's see. I mean, at best, there's a couple C-rated quarterbacks. Anybody rated over a C? Wideouts. I do wonder how valuable like a C- is with a couple abilities as opposed to and compared to a B. There is a B here though. A defensive lineman, Jude Hannon. B grade freshman. We'll definitely pick Mr. Hannon. Is he the only one that we're allowed to pick then? Interesting. Now that I've picked him, I can't select anybody else. What am I missing? It's also Will Perkovich. Alright, well clearly, I mean, that guy's the guy, right? So we'll look at him. We have his scouting reports. You have to pick someone to go onto your roster and drop the person you want to drop to get them. Interesting. Okay. Potential rate, big room for improvement. Let's recheck this dude's scouting report. Okay, he is actually a C, not a B. Fair enough. Fair enough. There was a B-rated defensive back as well, Will Perkovich. Let's recheck you. He is also actually a C. Right, we go quarterback. So would it be worth, for example, no stats for Joseph Chelf? I was going to say, is it worth it to kind of rescout that guy based off of stats? What about Knox Giatino? No stats for him. Not even going to attempt that name. So it's not showing any particular stats. Maybe it's just because we don't have any of these guys scouted whatsoever. There is this 18-year-old freshman quarterback listed as a C. So let's take a look at Jonas Seabright, who is still a C. The stats still don't show up. I mean, he was a freshman, so it makes sense. But for other people, it was showing the high school stats, and it's not showing that for him. So that's a bit interesting. But Jonas Seabright. There's one more dude here at quarterback. Big room for improvement, slow growth, over time. We're not really finding anybody too crazy. In terms of transfers, what about Fred Ruita? Let's just look at you for the hell of it. He's a D+. Boy, I really know how to pick him, don't I? Holy shit. I really know how to pick him. What about CJ Suto? Yikes. Well, that is okay. All right, so if we go to current roster, we do have a D+ of a quarterback here. Running backs. Okay, we really do need another tight end. So Devin Follick, let's pick you. Go back to transfers, and we'll just hope that Isaac Josephson's the guy, and we'll confirm that acquisition. So we got Josephson, and now we can do 5 more. Interesting. Let's see. I mean, do we have 3 wideouts right now? That feels like that's going to be a problem. We do have an F-rated offensive lineman. So let's pick that guy. And hope for the best that one of these C- options are good. Nathaniel Gassler, we're just going to hope for you, buddy. That was denied. Interesting. What about... instead of him, we'll go with this guy who has abilities. Travis Citrullo. Alright, we got Citrullo. That's interesting that they can be rejected for this, that, or the other reason. Defensive line, we have an F. Let's try to get rid of this guy. We do have a C+. Aiden Garrard. Try that. That was also denied by the AD. Interesting. But now a B- in Abraham LaFontaine is showing up. Can we get him instead? No, we won't let you get this C+ guy, but you can have this B-. Okay. Fine by me. Is there a better kicker punter than a D+? Jeremy Blachars. Let's try to get this guy then. Sorry, Conrad, you gotta go. That move was also denied. Can we get Joel Wallace? We have Joel Wallace instead. That was also denied. I think I just picked the rejection again, though. Hold on. Transfers. It definitely glitched out for a second. Dropped Cloberdans. Yeah, it definitely glitched out there for a second. Wallace still there. Pick him. So yeah, after a rejection, you're going to want to go back to the roster and redo it. That's something we just learned. We got 2 left. Might as well see. Let's see if we can get rid of Howard Allmeyer. Get a better than a D+ quarterback. Maybe Jonas Seabright anyway. Or Barry Prestiani. We'll go for Seabright. See if we can do that. And one more transfer. Let's take out Dustin Myatt. And who do we have? There's a freshman, Jody Gaspari. Can we do that? Okay. So that is what the transfer system looks like. Nothing too crazy. Advance again. Then we have recruiting. What do we have for recruiting? Looks like we have 3 spots on the roster. From what I can tell. 3 open spots. I mean, a quarterback could certainly help. Big-time wideout would certainly help. O-line help. I mean, we need help anywhere, man. So it's kind of just the best people we could get right now. I don't like that I can't sort by grade, but the good thing is there's not that many people. Spots per position? No, it says 3 across the board. Okay, you're right. Never mind. Correct you are. I was going to say off of the first couple. Hence why they're grayed out. Okay, so we can only get a wideout. As well as just a wideout. That's all we can do. Well, let's find the best damn wide receiver possible, huh? God damn. What about Zach Letter? You're tall as shit. We have no... Okay, so we do share rescoutings from the transfers and this. Interesting. Let's just risk it on Zach Letter then. Again, interesting. Okay, the high school stats did show up this time. 54 receptions, 11 touchdowns. They don't let you cut players? Apparently not. Let's just see if we can take Zach Letter. And that is how recruitment works. You just hope for the best. Now, this was my fear initially, of course, right? Where they say, hey, this game, it works. Is obviously certain features like that are just not very fleshed out. Training and roster cuts. What can we do for training, or does it just show whether or not somebody's better? We can cut people now. We couldn't cut people before, though. But what point is there for me to cut somebody when recruiting-wise, that's all I could do, you know? So, not really sure what the point would be to cut right now. It just feels like we'd be setting our roster up for a lack of success. So, I think we're good. I also didn't see anything to do for training. Again, like you click on the player, nothing pops up. There's nothing else on that menu there. So we will advance again. And that is that. And it brings us back to the start of a new season. So, and schedule-wise, doesn't look like you can customize your schedule either. Whatever you get handed is what you get handed. And obviously the roster's there. The coordinators look like they have the run of the depth chart. Unless you put your foot down and say, this guy's starting, this guy's starting. You get 6 rechecks a year. And that is pretty much that. Shout out to the San Francisco 59ers. So, from the college perspective, I suppose it's worth mentioning they have a Discord server for feedback purposes. I mean, okay, right? We've been playing this for 40 minutes. So far, obviously, they haven't lied. It's functional. It's missing a lot of things that could help with the immersion. I do think the Sports Zone thing is really cool, but I don't know if I would have prioritized that being in the game over simple things like being able to see stats across the nation. You know, solid base for the future, yes. And again, I respect the fact that they're like, hey, it's $10 now. We'll probably charge more in the future. So if you support us at the base level, you kind of get a bit of a deal on that. But, you know, if we're talking like, hey, streamer, are you going to play this game for the next 2 weeks? Don't get your hopes up, because I don't really think there's too much to sink your teeth into right now. I do want to see what the pro level looks like. So we'll go New World. And we will just start this straight up. Oh, man, you have to go 1950 and then 1990. Okay, well, we'll have to take a minute then to restart that, since we can't start a brand new year. I guess we could go 1960, just to shorten it up. But that's an interesting one. And you know what? Full sim will turn off this time. And it'll make reading players more vague as they have no history. You know what? No, screw with them. We'll put on full sim. And we'll see what it looks like at the pro level. All right, pro level. Pro level. Let's see what we have here. Top hat. Yes, I did. Honestly, we can just leave all of that as it is. I don't really care. We'll just be Lucas Large. It's a really funny name. We get 6 rechecks. Okay, that's fine. So, we can sign on with the Toronto Beavers, the Houston Apollos, or the Dallas Marshalls. That's the first logo I've looked at where I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that particular one's AI. That's the first one. Well, I mean, let's be honest, right? Let's go with the Toronto Beavers. We could go with the Dallas Marshalls. I found a typo on Marshall Field, by the way. Unplayable! Let's be the Toronto Beavers. And yeah, our general manager, Zachary Zazera. We'll sign that contract. Cool. So at the pro... Yay! He said Toronto. Let's take a look at the league and see who we have. We have the Miami Sharks, the Cincinnati Claws, the Buffalo Lions, the St. Louis Bucks. I like that. Shout out to the St. Louis Bucks. The Utah Coyotes. I mean, hey, we said they exist at least in one way, shape, or form. Am I right, fellow hockey fans? The Tampa Bay Musketeers. That's good, too. I like that. The New York Titans. That's a good one. Dallas Marshalls, the Kansas City Spears, the Pittsburgh Steel Wings, the New Jersey Towers, that's a choice. Yeah, I mean, hey, in fairness, there were 3 buildings that collapsed that day. We have the Cleveland Pitbulls, the Green Bay Boxers, instead of the Packers, the Las Vegas Jacks. You got the Oregon Renegades, which I think were also a college team. The Atlanta Reichstag, the Atlanta Eagles. The San Diego Strikers. Jax is definitely... Yeah, I feel like some of these pro logos, right? The New England Continentals. Just call them the Continental Breakfast. The New Orleans Angels. The Minnesota Valkyries. I like that one a lot in terms of name and, you know, cheeky branding. the Chicago Retros, the Jacksonville Wildcats, blue tongue and all, the San Diego Matadors, Toronto Beavers, of course, the Oakland Pillagers. You don't want to see the Strikers playing the Towers. Well, you know. The Seattle Hawks. Okay, you're gonna get in trouble for that one. You didn't even change it to like the Seattle Blue Jays. You just went straight up Seattle Hawks. The Washington Warriors. The Denver Grizzlies. Ooh, there's actually a lot more teams than I thought. The Detroit Jaguars, which is just like Seahawks logo style. The Arizona Shadows. The San Francisco 59ers. You could have done the 69ers, though. I'm just saying. You're better than I am. The Indianapolis Chargers. The Baltimore Stallions. The Philadelphia Founders. And fuck you, Baltimore, and it's the Carolina Hunters. Now, one thing I did notice that I'm not sure if the college one had, down on rank, there is a drop menu to see points for, points against, the yardage. But it's not player-specific. It is team-specific. So still no player-specific stats or anything like that. Which is interesting. In terms of the coach, yeah, again, same thing that we had. I mean, Niles, just watch the stream and you'll hear the answer, won't you? Coaches are the same, too. Draft board, nothing. So we're allowed up to 20 players on the draft board at the pro level. I think you got a definite avenue for review on indie sports games. I mean, I'm not opposed to doing it. It's just, you know, when you're not getting bent over the table for a game for $35. So the roster, Stone Von Olin. Hell yeah, Stone Von Olin's going to lead us. Got Oliver Ellis, Skylar Slagter, what a name. Boy, we just keep ending up on teams that aren't that good, huh? We just keep ending up on teams that are not that good. But we do have PJ Diddy. And Aaron Fosna. The Fosna. Alright. Well, that is looking okay. Pretty straightforward, of course, again. So if we go to the schedule, let's go to week number 2. Where we lost to the Hunters 27-21 for our first loss of the year. I love that we play at Maple Field. And back to the draft board. Okay, so draft board, from what I can tell, is probably just going to stay empty until the end of the year. So I'm surprised it even appears at all. But we'll sim through the season. And we'll see. I imagine, again, the offseason will look pretty similar. We finished 9-7. And play Minnesota in the playoffs. Again, draft board, there's going to be nothing. There's nobody to add or anything like that. There's a remove button, but there's nobody there. League-wide standing, Denver top team, along with St. Louis at 14-2. Worst team, bunch of 5-11 teams. Bunch of 5-11 teams. Carlos, what's up, dude? All right, well, shit, we'll see what happens in the playoffs. Why not? We do beat the Minnesota Valkyries to move on. We play Arizona and lose to the Shadows. All right, so we are out. Fair enough. Fair enough, fair enough. Well, we made it to the final 8. It's not that bad. Who is going to win the Superior Bowl? The answer is Miami at 13-7. The only time a Miami football team can win anything. Got him. Okay. To the offseason then. All right. Go back to draft board. Again, nothing there for the moment. Offseason, job offers. We will stick with Toronto. In terms of our coaches, let's go with the guy that has no weaknesses, Mr. Shinnick. And defensive coordinator, again, we'll go with the guy that has no weaknesses, Harvey Weaver. And then we advance. Players leaving. So, couple of free agents, I'm guessing, because that guy's 37. Have no way to re-sign them to stop them from leaving. Free agency. Again, still no way to sort, unfortunately. And it works the same way that the college side of things does as well. Gotta drop somebody. Oh, did it say retirement? Oh, yeah, you're right. I just read players leaving and figured it was the same thing. Okay. Well, still, though, as far as I know, there was no way to, like, re-sign a player, but it looks like they just stay unless they retire or you drop them through free agency. So, obviously, it's a little bit, wonky. AC Olivetti, you look terrible. So, free agent wideouts. Can I pick up Evan Floss? Yes, I can. So this is going to work the exact same way. We have a couple. Yeah, you can only do one at a time as well. A couple of offensive linemen we probably want to replace. Darian Strauss, let's bring you in if I can. And back to the roster, Dave Ansbro. Dave Ansbra. Destin Sackrider, perfect. Exactly the guy that we need on this team. Were there any other D-rated players further down? I don't think so. This D lineman, Peter Sewell, let's get rid of him. And we'll go for Daryl Shive. Why not? Two more options. Linebackers. Sydney, you gotta go. Beavers bringing a sack rider. Do you expect anything less? Marcus Bay. Alright, and last but not least, defensive back. Ben Finley is terrible. Can we get B-rated Scotty Lawrence? Just doesn't look like those ever get rejected. Okay. Now this is obviously the interesting thing is the draft. Again, the draft board just kind of sits there. So what do we have for the draft? We have pick number 25. I imagine it's based off of standings. We had a couple of recheck options as well. Let's see this quarterback here. Rob McCoolin. He's actually a C+. Okay. Do we have anybody else with a B grade throughout all of this? Doesn't look like it. Here we go. John Benson. I've yet to see someone actually have their potential confirmed, if not improve. I'll say that. Which is a bit of a bummer. If we look at our roster, let's be honest, we could really use a defensive back upgrade. Although the top three that we have are okay. Let's see, where do we really want to take a chance here? Probably another wideout. Alright, can we find anybody here? There's only 2 C's left. Let's look at Ewan Casanelli. Hey, he actually got better. He's a C+. And Jeremy Ellsworth is a D+. Okay, well, we have our guy. We're taking Mr. Casanelli. Quick and easy, and then pick 61 of this draft. So it looks like the whole dropping player is going to be way more beneficial for the pro game over anything else. I do wonder, I mean, God, if we could get a better quarterback, better defensive back. DB, Theodore Armstrong, let's look at you. He's terrible. And Rio Bose is a little bit better. Okay, you can see his stats, though, which is nice. And what he was able to do in college. So we'll see if we can find a steal in the 3rd round. Particularly for quarterbacks. Let's see if we can find a steal here. So Ollie, 2,100 yards, 18 touchdowns, 5 picks. Lucas, 25 and 10, 5 fumbles. Bulla, 15 and 9. As far as I can hit the down button here, too, so they kind of want you to do that. Rob McCoolin, 26 and 5 for Mensu Lalu. And for this guy, he did not play. It does have his high school stats, but God, he went pro without actually playing. There's also Holden 13, 34 and 7 with 3 fumbles. Clear answer had to be Menzu Lalu. If anyone was going to be a steal based off of stats, it was going to be you. Who else might we want to get? I do like the ticker, of course, at the bottom. Like the game looks good. Like the art direction was definitely a good choice. We already took that defensive back, Scotty Lawrence. Looks like Mensu does end up still staying as a C. Probably be able to drop Cheney Capo. So, quarterbacks. I mean, McCoolin does still show up as a C+. I don't know if I believe it. Let's see if we can find a running back steal here, then. Anybody that just, like, had an absurd amount of yards. 800 for Casey Kever. Nobody that had an absurd amount of yards. Nor an absurd amount of receptions. What about wideouts? Anybody stat-wise that looks interesting? 38 receptions, 9 touchdowns, 500 yards. Again, nobody that looks too crazy. But the D-line. The top guy with 6 sacks. That dude's got 6 tackles for loss. Let's take Edison Marney. Had 6 sacks last year and an interception. Let's test him out. Linebackers as well. We'll keep looking. Right? Because scouting report, now we kind of know, right? That's the only information you get to go off of. 90 tackles, 121 tackles for Casey Schultz. Colton right there. I mean, quite a few guys here that are decent in terms of their total numbers. Interceptions, forced fumbles, sacked. Schultz did a bit of everything. Let's see if that guy's better than what he looks like. 6th round. Can we find a defensive back who might have been a bit of a ball hawk? 2 picks for Cam Dring. 2 picks for Greg Altick. We also had a forced fumble for Dring. Altick is 6'2". Not to be heightest, but let's go for Altick. And then one more round. Offensive linemen. They have knockdowns and pocket time as their stats. Honestly, I'm going to go with Preston Barraclough for the knockdowns he racked up. They actually get another pick in the 7th round. Kicker Mo Monks. I do wish they had an outright percentage. 24 of 36. Can't say I'm overly impressed by a lot of these kickers. We'll just pick up B.J. Dillander. If I'm allowed to, and I'm not. Okay, we're actually at the end of the draft. Again, if we go back, draft board, I don't even know why that's there, to be honest. I don't even know why that's there. Looks like we can advance to training. Your roster doesn't meet the minimum. Cool. Alright, so Malu did end up being a C. Floss of a C+. No line. I just wanted to see if anybody was better than what it looked like they might be. Schultz just ended up being that bad. Fair enough. Alright, so Cafo, we will get rid of you. That guy's number is -1. It's the XFL, baby. It's the XFL, you never know. Alright, we're going to have to keep getting rid of some people. No punishment for cutting anybody, anything like that. Which is fair. Quarterback-wise, sorry, Mr. Koshar, you're out of here. Okay. And just like that, I think that is a season in the books. We get our schedule for the next year, and that's that. Now, obviously, the roster, pretty much what someone's overall looks like. There's a good chance it'll stay there. I mean, we did improve the team. Okay. Well, I do hate to say it, but I think we've experienced what there is to experience with this particular game at this point in time. And the overall thoughts are pretty simple. Just feels like, a proof of concept. It is a good base level for what this game could be, and hopefully what it will be. But when they say, and I respect it, like when they say in the listing, like, hey, it's playable, here's what we're working on, I respect that quite a bit. At the same time, not overcharging for it, and essentially saying, hey, if you do this now, $10, later on when we flesh it out more, it might be worth more, but hey, if you invest in us now, here's what we're doing, here's where we're trying to go with it. Like I said, I respect it. I'm intrigued to see where this ends up, especially a year from now, around their target date of it being moved out of early access. That said, are you going to get a ton out of this right now? Probably not. You're probably not going to get a ton out of this right now. Maybe there's a little bit more to find if you kind of peel back some of the layers, some of the abilities. I mean, certainly the goal of building a team that is good enough to win, you can certainly try. But at the same time, again, there's no stats league-wide. There's no way to even really look at other teams' rosters, I believe. Yeah, I mean, if you go to League and you go to Standings and you click on the Miami Sharks, okay, you can look at their roster at least. So you can do that. And then the only way to look at somebody's stats is to do that, to go to every single team and check out, like, okay, who's their starter, that type of deal. Because, again, no individual rankings there. So, at the very least, too, you can also see what's going on in college or the pro level, depending on what level you're at. It's a good basis. It's a cool idea. It's obviously a really fun aesthetic to it all. But it does have a ways to go. It does have a ways to go. You will absolutely, if you get this, be spending $10 on the foundation of a game that is not, all that close to being done. But again, they are open and honest about that from the start. So this is something we'll revisit down the road, I'm sure. Can I recommend it for $10? If this is something you think you're going to want to play when it is further fleshed out, yes. Otherwise, you're kind of dropping $10 on something right now that I don't think you're going to get too much playing time out of. That's not too deep right now. You could certainly do a lot worse for $10, though. There is that.